Oh, hi everyone. I'm Dmitry Danilin, alias known in some underground ELT circles as Mr. D. My long forgotten background is actually rock music, so whenever I find myself on any kind of a stage with this little thing in my hand, old habits begin to wake up. And I'm really tempted to get this gig going with something like, hey, yeah, how's everybody doing today? But I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to stay focused and keep calm, okay? I run Green Card Language School in Podolsk, Russia. Well, do yourself a favor and check out our Kontakty page, greencard.school. See our student videos, see what they can do with their English, see how old they are when they do that. You're going to be blown away, I promise. With that out of the way, let's get down to business. I'm going to try keeping this very down to earth so you'll walk out a different person from this little seminar and hopefully having a real tool in your hands that you could actually use in class. So, eliciting simple and effective techniques for eliciting grammar from beginners and students with a language barrier. So if you look at an average class, what you get is a couple of enthusiast kids, maybe 2, 3, 4, I don't know, who are really into it and who eclipse the whole group speaking-wise. And then you got this quiet or semi-quiet majority. Okay, the former are usually the kids who have been with you since the beginning or for quite a while, so the language barrier is not an issue for them. But then in the beginning of the year or in the middle of the year, you got these new kids or worse, teenagers who had come, who had studied English for many years at some regular Russian school, which sometimes is a thing in itself, and or some not very responsible language school, your competitors. Or some charlatan of a private instructor, and there you go, boom, it's a Molly crew now, okay? On a side note, okay, the native speaker world, ironically, is not eager to hone our students' grammar. You know, you might travel across whole Europe and barely say a few words, other than your typical, how are you, what's your name, where are you from, Russia, cool, you know, that's it. There's not much application of English. Or you may send your kids to the language camp in England. A great image thing for sure, scores a lot of points for your school. But ultimately, as a means of improving language command, it's not all that great. I mean, the camp counselors, yeah, they play some sports games with you, play some tag games or whatnot. But communication-wise, they tend to keep to themselves and don't exactly expect to engage into in-depth, lengthy conversation with our students when they could spill their souls to them, thus honing the grammar skills. So why am I bringing this up? It appears that the students have no one in the world to help them with their grammar, with their English, but us. So we, the teachers and our classes, need to become their true America, their true England, their true Germany, wenn sie studieren Deutsch oder whatever. They need to communicate, and communication must be cherished and fostered and welcomed in class. But for a teacher, this often becomes a daunting task, because to elicit a complete sentence from a student, you know, okay, what did you do yesterday? Nothing. What are you going to do tomorrow? I don't know. Why did you do that? I don't know. This is the picture represents the challenge that the teacher faces a lot of times. So some teachers just give up on eliciting anything from their students, and they just become TT teachers. You know the term TTT, teacher talking time. So the teacher just sings like a nightingale for 80% of the time, and while the rest of the group just listens and nods. So he or she uses this beautiful English, complex grammar, but the students speak this little. Okay, could we go? Yeah, so how could we possibly change the situation? The students are not yet eager to speak, or they are afraid, or they're shy. Maybe they want to, but they can't. In order to master grammar, we know that the students must consistently and continuously run it through their system and through their mouth specifically. You only start using past simple when you use past simple. It doesn't work the other way. No knowledge of, God forbid, rules or silent drills, impartial drills will ever help them master grammar. So what is the solution? That brings me to the heart of my today's presentation. Don't touch anything yet. It's not about drilling it, it's about living it. This is one of the key principles of OSM teaching, and this is a method developed by Olga Saboliva. This is the method that we purvey a green card. You know, if you act or you don't just read a text, you don't just read a dialogue, you don't just play a game, you make it a personal experience. Because if you speak like a robot, or if a teacher speaks like a robot, once upon a time there was a lady and she lived a good life, you know, it's dead. It's dead. You will never achieve fluency in a true sense of the word. So, but it's not about a mere RPG. It's not like saying, okay, let's play a game. You are now a doctor. Here's your stethoscope. You're now a manager. Here's your phone. You are now a waiter. Here's your tray. Lights, camera, action. Let's go. What happens? The students remain robots with props, robots with costumes. Okay, there's a robot with a stethoscope. He's not a doctor just because he put his, you know, Red Cross hat on or a gown or anything. It has to be personal. How do we make it personal? Please. All right, here's some pretty morbid, macabre image for you all. Pied Piper. But believe me, I used it with good intentions. Before you do anything with any grammar activity, you absolutely need to create an attention-diverting pretext, as we call it. The original OSM teaching term is actually an anacrusis, and that's a musical term. It's kind of musical offbeat, da-da, whereas we do ta, and the students do da. So what is the difference between OSM teaching and whatever standard methods that people are using is that you just don't give the student a role and a prop. You give them a very detailed setting and a character which they follow. In OSMT, it's called Stanislavski principle. So that means the student tries to represent this character as closely as possible. And in this moment, he or she, for a moment, for a few minutes, or whatever long this task takes, he or she forgets that she or he has a language barrier. He forgets whatever language he or she is speaking at the moment. The gates are open, and then we bring the grammar in sort of like a Trojan horse. Okay, when I'm going to do the demonstration, I'll show you how to create a pretext. We're going to have some fun today, some cool interactivity. So, could you please? Right. Now, a few words about the general approach to listing grammar. Well, God forbid you tell students, okay, let's play a grammar game. It's so interesting. Oh, my God, you're going to be loving it. You butchered it, okay? They don't know they do any grammar. They don't know they're drilling anything. You know this. They don't, okay? Encourage away, but yeah. Refrain from instructive tone at all times. Well, instructive tone, where do I start? Instructive tone, or it's also called a school intonation, it's been a scourge and a bane of ELT in Russia specifically. Like, you meet this great teacher, he's such a bright person with really great voice, has lots of idiosyncratic inflections, you know, and then he or she opens the book and addresses the student or something. What is your name? What is your name? What happened to this bright and intelligent and idiosyncratic personality? Again, if you do the instructive tone, it's dead. The whole thing is dead. You're not learning the language, you're not living it, you are learning a foreign language. Ditto sticking out right grammar forms when processing student mistakes. Okay, for example, a student says, yesterday I go to the theater. If you say something like, yesterday you went to the theater, again, you butchered the whole thing, you killed it, okay? Because, again, it's a completely different mindset. They're not doing whatever living, they're drilling. So what do we do? As Marjorie actually mentioned at her plenary talk, we echo the student with the correct version, but without sticking any grammar forward. So I go to the theater yesterday. Oh, so you went to the theater yesterday. And we do it countless times, as if it's nothing at all. In this case, the student remains in this immersive situation. One more thing about living it. Let's say you're drilling the structure, what would you like, or restaurant kind of thing. So you have this adult students practicing the restaurant situation. So what would be the usual approach? Okay, you're at the restaurant, you're the waiter, you're the client. Make an order. Okay, what would you like? Okay, the critical difference of OSM teaching is that for us, it is not only important to say something correctly, but it's also to be real, not to be fake. Because if you're fake, if you're superficial, nothing stays in your hand. It just kind of goes above your head. So they're drilling the situation, and then you say, okay, guys, here's a pretext for you. All right, you're a married couple. You've known each other for 20 years. You're sick and tired of each other. Whatever your wife says, the husband says something on the contrary, on principle, and vice versa. Now play it out. Or the waiter. This is your first day on the job. You're scared to death. You're afraid to drop the tray. You're afraid to mess it up. You're afraid to spill wine on the client. You're fixed on not ruining it. Now do it. And so when you see that they actually use all the structures correctly, what would you like, what I would like and stuff, but they're not living it, you say, hey guys, come on, wait a second. Who are you? We're a husband and a wife. Okay, how long have you known each other? 20 years. So why are you speaking like on the first date? Because if you didn't feel it, if you didn't put it inside, it's not going to stay with you, One more thing, which is really important. We believe in green card in OSM teaching. We believe in always supplying our student with lexical and grammatical aids and prompts so that they could not lose their grip and keep their footing as they speak. I mean, improvisation, spontaneity, free speaking, it's all well and good, but if you leave a student without any support whatsoever, what you get is first, huge thinking pauses. Yesterday I went, and he won't even say when to. He'll be just stopping dead on his tracks right here. So there'll be no to coming. When to. Second, you get the poor vocabulary. They'll be tempted to use things like names. Okay, yesterday I bought Vasya. Yesterday I bought Petya. They're not going to be using the active vocabulary that you want to rotate. And three, they just infect themselves with their own mistakes. There are hundreds of nearly packaged and marketed games out there offering these great situations for an RPG and storytelling. But in the end of the day, if you take it a class, ultimately they become practically useless for any levels below C1 because they provide no grammatical or lexical backbone at all. So they just, okay guys, tell a story. And they look at the pictures and whatnot, and they have the situation, and they'll be saying some gibberish. And the teacher's going to be like trying to deal with their mistakes on the fly. This is just not the way it's supposed to be done. So I guess I said everything here. So the grammar content, it doesn't mean that they must use your cue cards, lexical cue cards. If they can say it off the top of their head, fine. But if they need a quick help, it's always right there in front of their eyes, on the blackboard, on the screen, whatever. And the grammar form that you rotate has to be always on the forefront. They got to see it. They got to see it. Okay. Could we please... Right, okay. Now, I'm going to show you one of the techniques. First, I'll show you the flow of the game. And then I'll go in a very big detail about the pretext, okay? Because the pretext is the key to everything you do with grammar. So basically, you're going to need a typical irregular verbs table. You can download it off the web. You could use your own. You could customize it to whatever vocabulary you're using. You could actually use the active grammar and verbs that are used in your concrete unit at this time. So what you do, you get the table, put it on the screen or on the blackboard. You get some cue cards. You got the thematical vocabulary, whatever, food, transport, and whatnot, right? And then you need to some kind of simple prop to introduce a police sentiment. Okay, we call this one a police game. It's a working title. You may come up with something more creative. The names are not important. The content is. Go, please. All right. So we actually have a few characters here. So one student is a detective, okay? And he asks questions using column 1 of the table. So his question is, what did you yesterday? And he looks at column 1 and he can pick up whatever, drink, see, sleep, read, whatever, yeah? And now we got the suspect. The suspect answers the questions, and his line is, yesterday I and he looks at column number 2. Yesterday I a book. Yesterday I a sandwich or something. And now we got a bunch of witnesses, which are the rest of the class. And the witnesses contradict not only the suspect, but also each other. No, you didn't read a book. You read a magazine. No, you didn't read a magazine. You read a blog. You didn't read a blog. You read a manual or something. So they're fighting with each other. So in this case, we get the number 1, what did you, it's a police guy. I did, column number 2, suspect. And then we have a positive and negative sentence. No, you didn't, you did, Right. Okay, I just explained this. So where did you yesterday? Uses column 1 for detective, right? What did you bear yesterday? What did you beat yesterday? And the suspect says, yesterday I, column number 2, yesterday I drank whatever, juice. You got the cue cards in front of them. And uses prompts if needed. If he or she can answer by him or herself, fine. And the witnesses, just as I explained, they use positive and negative sentences, right? And then you shuffle the roles, okay? Somebody else becomes the suspect or the detective or the witness. Right, don't forget the fun. So throw in some unfitting words into the mix. For example, the police says, what did you drink yesterday? So we got milk, we got coffee, and we got krot. So if you can hype a little bit, be in a trend. So this is a Barry Basov's, drink of choice, as it seems. So you could mix some funny words into each number of lexical prompts that you have, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Actually, this police game, it takes about 5-7 minutes to explain the rules to the kids first time, and then the game lasts the entire year without any problems, easily becoming one of their favorites, and not to say the least, one of the most effective tools of internalizing and practicing grammar. Right, the game could be upgraded as you progress. Children feel themselves more freely. You can introduce 2 detectives. One is the good, one is the bad. And the bad always uses third person. One says, so what did you do yesterday? And the other says, what did you do yesterday? So they kind of ask the same question twice and kind of, do it more, right? It's always a good thing. You can introduce the judge character, and he is your monitor about believability, about the Stanislavski principle. Okay, if the suspect says, yesterday I read a book, judge, do you believe him? Does he act like he read a book? So he kind of oversees the realness of it, okay? And then you can revolve the game about the topical vocabulary that you have. Let's say today's game could be dedicated specifically to fashion or to whatever, transport or whatnot. You can vary when it happens. So today I have this, what did you do yesterday? But next time you're going to use what did you do last week or last Monday or a year ago or whatever. Yes, so you enrich the vocabulary. But with the students with the language barrier, with students with the language barrier, you are careful. Okay, you start with yesterday and see how it goes. And when you see when they're ready, you could change it for last week or whatnot. Now you can actually completely change the setting. Okay, it's not a police game anymore. When you've been playing it for like the whole year. They already know the drill. They are tired of this police situation. You can change it absolutely. You can say, okay, now you're at the doctor's office. You're a doctor, and this is an amnesiac person. He forgot everything. And this is his bereaved relatives. Oh my God, he didn't do this. I know him. So this is what you do. Yeah, right. One really important thing is do not over gamify. Okay, everybody is about the gamification today. Wearing costumes and all the bells and whistles and stuff. Concentrate on the substance, not on the surface. No need for expensive props. No need for like decoration. Sometimes a single pencil can work as an extension of a personality. Okay, it could be a police baton or a stick or something. A simple brick could be a phone and so on. That's enough to create a situation. Concentrate on living it, not external features. And grammar, content, and emotional involvement are the core of any activity. Again, OSM teaching principles. Right, okay, I'm going to speak about this a little bit later. Let's create a pretext together. I'm going to need 2 volunteers, one for the police officer and one for the suspect. Who's the brave one? Okay, please. And now you're going to need a chair, I guess. I really do need a suspect, guys, please. Sure, okay. Awesome, great. You don't know how fitting you are. Yeah, this is the key thing. Okay, and you guys, please help me out with the witnesses. I'm not going to use any new cards. Let's assume we have them because you'll C1, C2, whatever, and C2. Now 1, 2, and you know how to use an irregular verb when you need it. But for students, let's assume we always have the words ready. Okay, now, the police officer. Could you please stand up for a second? Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, so, now let's see the transformation. You are 77 years old. You're a man. You weigh about 140 kilos and have breathing problems when you walk. Right, yeah, so, to add to that, no, you need to stand up. We didn't. Yeah, awesome. She was already in. Okay. Many years ago, you had a fight with a gangster, which you bravely fought, and you've been shot in the leg, and now you're limp for life. Okay. So this is your last day on the job. You're going to retire today, and you're going to have a party, but your boss, you never actually became a boss, although you've been working in the police for like 100 years. But anyway, you got a call that you have this suspect here and you have an interrogation. And so please make your appearance in the room. You're out of breath, overweight, limping, and also you're a little bit deaf because you've been concussed many years ago. So every time you ask something, you need to ask twice. You get it? So please make your appearance. Okay. So now we have a submerged kind of a student. Now the suspect. Okay. The suspect, you are having a wedding in 30 minutes. And, is it my phone? No, not mine, okay. So you have a wedding, and but they just caught you on the street. Here's your wedding, you communicate with your bride-to-be constantly, okay? You're just sending messages and stuff, and okay, you're really worried, you want to be out of here as quick as possible. Okay, so now, please enter the room, ask your questions. Hold on a second, I'm going to give you the prop. Pick up any word you like from the table. I hope you see it. Yeah, so, yeah, just say it like a deaf, overweight. Yeah. Awesome. All right. You don't speak by the rules. You chat. You text. You don't speak. You text. Oh, what did you buy yesterday? Yeah. Now, please look at column number 2. You're very impatient. You want to go to the wedding. Yesterday I bought. Yes, I bought food. Now we got. Great. She's deaf. Yesterday. No, we say it again. You bought what?
What did you do yesterday?
Awesome. Okay. Great. Now, so you need to say what did you buy yesterday. That's the rule. I number 2, column number 2. I bought whatever. You're very impatient. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Now we got the witnesses. You may sit down for a while. Okay. Now we got the witnesses. Okay. The witnesses, guys. Okay. All of you were living your lives on Saturday, and then you got a call that you must come on this beautiful Sunday to Yaroslavl to testify on some stupid case which you happen to witness. You are very angry, to say the least, and you make it a priority to drown this lady. You're very vindictive and vengeful, okay? You make it your absolute priority to make her life hard. So please, she says she bought food. Yeah, witness. No, you didn't buy food. Somebody. Okay, you didn't buy. Now the next witness contradicts the previous one. No, he didn't buy weed. You bought. He didn't buy drugs. The next suspect contradicts the previous one. No, he didn't buy drugs. He bought. You guys get busy. You're chatting. Yeah, you're like breathing hard and checking what the witnesses say. All right, so this is the demonstration of a pretext. You understand? You see how submerged they were in the role? Well, when this happens to the student with a barrier, for a moment, for this brief minute, he or she will forget about it and start unfolding. You know, it only has to be seen to be believed. Try this in your class. This is going to be like mind-altering, and you'll never look back. I promise. One more thing. I still have time? 2 minutes. Awesome. One more thing. Okay, the last thing that another technique which you can use called poor me, lucky me. It's about present perfect. It's actually you use the number 3 column, and you have sort of like a talk show with money. Okay, so again, you say, "Poor me, I've never ridden a camel," and you would take all this imaginary money from this person, and the audience expresses their sympathy or envy, like, "Oh, poor me, I've never ridden the camel. Please give me your sympathy." Oh no, oh my God. Or lucky me, you know, or poor me, I've never seen Udeller. He wears a Ramones t-shirt, so he's into rock music, okay? Poor me. But lucky me, I have met Dmitry Nikitin. Here's our prompts, right? Udeller, Dmitry Nikitin. You know, you could make basically these 2 techniques, the police stuff and this one, is just a demonstration kind of. You can use any activity. You could, you know, create a pretext out of the thin air. Whatever grammar exercise you have, create a pretext, okay? So thank you very much. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to entertain them at this time. Thank you. Yeah, here's how you can find me. This is our group contact, Green Card School. Check out the videos. You'll never forget them. And this is my personal phone, WhatsApp, telephone, whatnot. Thanks a lot. No, error correction happens simultaneously, but it's not a correction. It's echoing with the right version. Like, okay, yesterday I go to the theater. Oh, yesterday you went to the theater. Be careful not to stick anything out. Yesterday you went to the theater. That's it. Never, ever do it. Yeah, and never break the flow of the language. Let's say they have something in brackets, like any grammar activity with brackets. Yesterday they, in brackets, to the park. Like we say, yesterday we to the park. We to the park. The length of is actually equals the length of the verb. So our students read it like this. Yesterday I to the park and I an ice cream. After that I to my grandmother, and then I In this way they understand the whole phrase. They don't stop in the middle, not understanding what happens next. And then they can come back and replace with the right thing. Okay, never break down the language. Never make it fake. Okay? Yes. The suspect. Why me? Have you wedded after all? Cool, awesome. You're married. Well, of course, okay, you don't expect for this to work wonders from the first session. It's not going to be like they'll be just reading this column 1, column 2 like that. They're going to be mistaking the columns. They're going to be saying the wrong things, and some of them might be shy at some point. But again, how to unshy yourself? Again, the people are shy when they're not giving the personality. Okay, you are the waiter. Now you are an 80-year-old waiter. I mean, even an introvert could identify with this. But I guess introvert people are introvert people. I mean, being an introvert and learning a foreign language is kind of a, a peculiar path to follow. I mean, normally it depends. It really depends a lot on the instructor, because how do people get introvert? Okay, if they say they come from school, okay, and the school system is very authoritative, and they see me for the first time and they think I'm another lion, and they're like the lambs in the cage. But after a while, they see that I'm just like as the next guy. Okay, I know the trends. I know what the young people are into, and as they warm up to the teacher, seeing that it's just a cool person, they begin to unwind and get not so stiff. It's a matter of trust. You build it. Well, some teachers have it like from the very first class. Some may need some time to get adjusted. But overall, well, I've been teaching like since 1999, and I don't see any hardcore introverts. I mean, there are one or two people, but they're just introverts. But again, submerging into character helps everybody. If you don't do it at all, everybody is an introvert. Okay, thank you.